review. Book one is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is a fellow podcaster too, no other than Mr. Elias Marty. Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Elias, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Well, I want to say thank you, Daniel, for having me on. My name is Elias Marty, and I am the host of Politically High Tech. It's a podcast that covers many topics like politics, technology, and development. Development, it just means anything that could improve humanity in any aspect. It could be legally, spirituality, but I'm not going to get long winded with that.
Mr. Eli Marty, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And today, let's talk about artificial intelligence and its ever expanding impact. Can you tell us about this topic?
Oh, sure. And I have to say, thanks to all the previous tech guests as shared their insights. So I'm not going to take all the credit. I'm just not. It would be disingenuous. It's because they have enlightened me. And even though I do have an impression what about AI and all that, I just consider myself as a pretty informed consumer when it comes to artificial intelligence. Its impact, well, it impacts so much. It continues to expand, I think, in a way that we humans just can't keep up with it. I'm just not going to beat around the bush. Our adaptability, it's outdated. It's been severely outpaced by AI. I mean, I think a lot of people like to think about how it impacts their job. That's what a lot of the fear comes in. Has it taken jobs away and all of that? Um, yeah, that's taken some jobs away. If you want me to elaborate any angle, because I
Oh,
could elaborate AI on many different ways, but I want to focus. I want to make sure I'm speaking to you and the audience because I could go about this at least in 10 different ways.
Mr. Eli, what emerging AI capability, advanced robotics integration, scientific discovery do you believe holds the most transformative potential?
Well, I think once AI robotics combine, they start becoming more sentient and aware, and and the AI expanding capability is just simply amazing. I mean, whew, it's almost overwhelming. I can understand what some of the fears are. I mean, I'm a cautious optimist personally, but when you know they let's talk about the job part. They want to start with that because they have taken some jobs away because some of these managers or even the bosses they want to find ways to cut costs, right? So that's what you're using these
Yes.
machines for, to cut those costs. And that's unfortunate because I still think humans can provide a great insight. AI is great, but it is not without its flaws. I mean, AI has done copyright infringement before, especially prior to updating the algorithm to make sure that copyright infringement will not happen again. They're taking people's work, and sadly, fraud, especially mimicking the voice close to perfection, based on someone that but you know is a thief. It could be someone that it could be your best friend, a brother, a sister, or a wife, someone that you know really well. But this thief is using AI just to mimic, mask their voice, asking for money. Now you gotta come think about it. Wait a minute. Why would this person need money? Especially if you go back to your previous conversations. And that's happened to a couple of my family members that's supposed to be tech. I don't want to sound too mean, tech savvy, but he fell for the scam because the scammer masked the voice of his older brother, and he lent him personal information, and there you go. He's been compromised. So those are the more negative effects of AI. It's taking jobs away because some corporate leaders just want to cut the work, right? Just they don't want to pay humans as much, and I'm seeing that happen. At the same time, I think humans are needed because we have to be the ones that are guiding AI, if that makes sense.
Makes sense, Mr. Eli. So, how is AI fundamentally reshaping our understanding of human creativity, intelligence, and value?
Ah, well, I think if we could use AI more as a tool, it will continue to demonstrate that we humans could continue to adapt no matter how advanced and how how great technology could get, right? Because it's not the first time we had this technological disruption. We had the industrial revolution. It was machines that took a lot of jobs away during, you know, 18th, 19th century. So this is just happening just more at the digital age and with robotics. That's the main difference. Um, but again, the way we could continue to demonstrate our relevance and value is that we need to still use our brain when it comes to AI prompts and even controlling the robot on what we want it to do. Don't let it control us because if you let the AI substitute your brain, your critical thinking, then we're in big trouble for sure. We are in big troubles.
Indeed, indeed, we are in a big trouble. How is AI fundamentally reshaping our constitutions?
I was like, can you repeat that?
How AI is fundamentally reshaping our constitutions. Are we ready
Mm.
for AI?
Oh, are we ready for AI? To be honest, no. This- no. And I'm gonna say that because I'm gonna use a more political angle. It's the shamelessly plug in something I know about. Most politicians are not talking about it. And just to add the Donald Trump's so-called big beautiful bill, there is a part of the bill that it did not want states to regulate AI for 10 years. And I think that's dangerous. So we're not ready for it, and those who have access to it will. Some of them can't. I don't want to just use a blanketed judgment against humanity. Some will use it for greedy and let's just say less than good intention purposes. So bad purposes, in other words. Um, we are not ready until we start regulating, understanding, and experiment with it and stop letting fear hold us back. I do believe in regulation. I do believe in some regulation because if we let it go out of whack, I just think the damage will be done to the point that it could be almost no return.
Mr. Eli, can you share a concrete example where AI is already having a profound, perhaps unexpected impact on our scientific industry or societal structure?
Well, okay, finally, I could be a little positive here because I consider myself a cautious optimist, but yet I'm providing all the negative examples. I'm very aware of this. But scientific breakthroughs, already seeing that happen, is detecting diseases much faster than before, right? And it's coming with
Yes.
treatments that's more compatible with people's DNA, which those are that's great. That's actually amazing. And see, this is a positive impacts of AI, which I like to talk more about. And it's reshaping how it's dealing with people as well. But you want to focus more on the scientific part. I was gonna jump straight to the consumer portion of it. But yeah, uh, excuse me, it's finding diseases much faster than before. Before we had to run so much tests and scan, but now since I have access to massive databases and history, it could find it much faster. And with all these treatments and early detection and prevention, we'll be living much longer, assuredly.
Much longer indeed. The economics disruption arguments is huge. Beyond job displacement, what are the lesser discussed economic impacts? and many more we urgently need to address, don't you think?
Oh yes, of course. I think, to be honest, I think some more job training needs to be advertised more so people could have the skills to use AI as a tool instead of looking at it as a possible terminator, destroy all humanity when a tech becomes sentient and aware that's being controlled by humans. I don't think it's gonna do that, at least not yet. Um, the economic impact is, well, of course, those who have a computer know that it requires some money. And people who got time to use AI, because sadly, people who don't have or in such social economic disadvantage, they don't have as much time because they are constantly worried about survival. So I think that needs to be addressed. I think train people how to use AI will be one way to lessen this, this economic inequality, if you will, because it could be a great tool. It could be a really great tool, especially use it on stuff that you're not exactly good at, but you know what you want. For example, I'm not a great artist. I use AI for art because I'm terrible at art. I think a 5-year-old could easily beat me in the art competition. That's how bad I am. But if I have AI to help me, I could come up with some decent piece of art. Okay, and using AI to not just not just organize your life, but using it that is relevant to the job will be one way of doing that. People who are embracing AI already have this advantage. I'll focus on those who are skeptical and fearful of it. Just go by little by little by little. Have someone to guide with them, someone who is more of a tech savant, a computer savant with patience to guide. Generally speaking, tends to be some of the older people. Generally speaking, I don't want to become ageist now. to to use AI and go and just create a creative lesson plan, especially those who wants to help their, it could be their parent or just, or it could be shockingly someone. I'm a millennial. Some millennials are not great using AI. I think they need to have fun and use it like it's a toy. Use it like it's a, just have that more enjoyment of it. And if you're fear, just I just say ease in and just do it little by little. Do simple prompts.
Yes.
What be simple prompts like, I don't know, create a picture of a, I don't know, teddy bear. There you go. That's more common than cuddly. Doing it. AI could generate that. Especially our AI like Crayon. Crayon's a good AI tool for that.
Yes, indeed. So, Mr. Eli, how do we navigate the alignment problem, ensuring increasingly powerful AI system actually pursue goals beneficial to humanity?
Well, we have to make sure that there's some, before we even get to all this advancement, we need to create some safeguards because look, AI has already caused some advancement on efficiency and productivity. It also has caused some problems with fraud and, of course, data privacy becoming less prevalent than before because people use AI for nefarious purposes. Um, but we need safeguards and we need laws. That's my proposal. While they could create better AIs, better tools, or just update really, because a lot of them's going to update, and a lot of these AI tools are going to disappear at some point because some of them are consolidating, some are going to just do more than one function. But I like AI tools that focus on one thing because they tend to do really good at one thing. Like Crayon, for example, again, is really good for art. It really
Yes.
specializes on artwork. ChatGPT and Gemini, which I was using today just to summarize this book here, The Art of Thinking Clearly. I'm getting to it just a little later. I was given the prompt to say, what are the best 5 chapters a reader should pay attention to when they're going through this book, and it gave me actually some good answers. All I gotta say is AI should be focused on curiosity, but in order to make AI go to our goal, I think the people who create it must have a clear vision. Make sure they stick to that clear vision. And if you just let AI be a generalist, I think after a while the AI tool becomes a little less relevant to me. I mean, that's still up for debate. I still like tools that know their lane and what they're good at, as opposed to ChatGPT that's more of a generalist. I mean, and then if you're a video maker, I mean, AI will be a great tool for you too. So if you want to create fun animated videos, I mean, I would say let curiosity be the guide. But in terms of goals and making it safe for humans, I personally think what needs to be done is, oh my god, I said I think some laws needs to be passed through, but this is only for America. I'm referring to throughout this whole thing, not not the other countries. And we need to follow other countries like European countries on this. We need to regulate AI more proactively because politicians, to be honest, are not talking about this. They're too busy dealing with other stuff. And well, Donald Trump is. That's why he put the AI component, the
Yeah.
AI deregulate component for a decade, which I think that's reckless and dangerous to me. And anyone who wants AI to maintain at least somewhat of an ethical reputation, if it was a person, now let AI go wild. I don't agree with that, and it's been used nefariously several times. So I don't want to ramble on, but feel free to probe me. So I want to make sure this conversation is being focused and guided in the right direction. I don't like. I hope I'm not rambling too much.
Yes, people, be curious always. Who knows, you will be the next Einstein. Mr. Eli, as a podcast host, what are your short term and long term goals?
Well, my short term goal is very plain and simple. Just get more followers, more subscribers. I mean, especially get them more politically enlightened, technologically enlightened, and even though I focus development in general, but I want people to be more spiritually enlightened. It doesn't have to be God, Jesus, Buddha, Vishnu, all of that. Just be aware that we are spiritual beings. But that spirit part, I think that's more the long term goal because eventually the politics and the tech might drop, and because I'm so deep to spirituality that I think I might go on that journey and let the other two segments just disappear into cyberspace.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Eli, and looking forward for more success to your podcast. And what will your piece of advice for those people out there who want to have their own podcast like us?
Um, I want to say this, and this is a bit of a hot take. You could be your own worst enemy. It held me back for years personally. Give it a shot. Treat it like an experiment. See what works, what you naturally do well, and see what doesn't work. Okay, for example, me, I had to work on speaking more clearly. I had to work on looking at the camera more often. That was weird to me. Okay, and have a system, and it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as you're improving, it will just get better and better and better. Yeah, so don't hold yourself back. Give it a try. You never know. Who knows? You could be someone even better than Rogan's. Probably one in a billion chance, but you never know.
You never know. Mr. Eli, thank you so much for your advice and very well said. Very well said. And can you recommend a book that influenced your journey as a podcaster?
Well, this book here, which I talked about very briefly, The Art of Thinking Clearly. It's a beige, yellowy kind of book. I recommend this book because this challenges our biases. The biases we have can serve us well to some extent, but a lot of times it holds us back because, especially, I'll talk about one bias in particular, confirmation bias. I think is the most common one we have because if it agrees with our belief and our perspective, we'll cling to it. as opposed to evidence and studies that challenges our belief. So I recommend The Art of Thinking Clear by Rolf Dubelli. And this is something that if you want to challenge your own biases, this is a very good book. It has 99 short chapters about it and gives good examples of each biases, and he explains it out very well about how you could how about he's just identify all the biases that we have and how profound they are. Because look, I say confirmation bias is one of my big issues. Like, for example, if let's just use this podcast as a hot take. If I didn't like his podcast, if I find a negative review about it, about Book 101, it's like, ha ha, you see, I knew I was right. It was such a bad podcast because I read that negative review. I knew it. That's confirmation bias. I just met him today, and we talked previously through email briefly, right? If I had this belief that I didn't like you and I think your podcast was bad, I will cling to that negative review and forget about thousands of positive reviews that you objectively have. That's why it's good to get out of your bias. And trust me, he actually does got a lot of positive reviews, people. Just check that out. I'm actually serious about that.
Yes,
Just to
thank you so much.
just to prove a point that that's confirmation bias. If I didn't like him, I'll just pay attention to that one or two negative reviews. I'll say, yes, Daniel's not great. I'm a better podcaster than him. You see that? See that? That's proof right there. Yeah, you're just putting your own bias on steroids. You're putting your own narrative on steroids. You have to challenge that if you want to grow, because those biases can be holding you back. So I recommend this book, and hopefully we'll be a better country, because we cling to our biases like our life is on the line. You'll be okay. You might feel uncomfortable, but you will be okay.
Thank you, Mr. Eli, for recommendation, and hoping our listeners or people watching right now will read that book that empowers your journey. And looking beyond the next decade of AI, what is the most plausible yet surprising scenario you envision for human?
This is I'm gonna go with most predictable to least predictable. I'm just gonna be very brief. I think hologram is gonna be the most prevalent thing, definitely. It's already starting in limited stages and baby phases, if you will. It's in its infancy, and it's gonna expand greatly to everyday use with AI capabilities, of course. And then the least expected is I just think more jobs with AI are going to come, and I think populations will have a better economic turnout, because those AI jobs are paying quite well, and that will be your pathway for decent living.
And before we wrap up this interview, Mr. Eli, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and of course my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in it fifth season too, geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101, Love Letters in third season, Movie 101 review in fourth season, as well as my Music 101 and Science 101 and Sex 101 in each per season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Mr. Eli, ultimately, what gives you the most hope and the most concern about the trajectory you are on with artificial intelligence?
Well, I'm going to get the bad out of the way, despite being the cautious optimist. The bad is people are losing jobs. It's already happening, and fraud activities. It's already going up. We need to be more alert than ever. We need to question our biases. Like I said, the one with my younger relative, he fell for the voice masking, that voice imitation fraud, because it was someone he trusted, his older brother. So you have to make sure that you got to connect the dots between that conversation and the other one. And then if it doesn't make sense, question it. Even if it may seem silly, question it. That's worse. But the positive is I think more people are going to be comfortable with AI, and I think more job opportunities, more lucrative job opportunities, are going to arrive with AI. That's the positive aspect, and we're going to be more efficient on some things, like creation of art, and hopefully, I do hope the customer service portion of AI will get better because so far it's not great. I would say, this is one of the AI weaknesses that I didn't think it would have. Customer service is not that great. This is where human intervention is still very important. It doesn't know how to deal with nuances and complicated problems. There's no like a basic problem like reset or just override a code or something. But something complicated, humans are still needed. So I'm sure it's going to happen. It's just going to be more integrated with AI, as opposed to tedious jobs that AI can do by itself, like calendar organizing, massive data. But we're gonna need humans just to see there's issues and analyze things in such a macro major perspective. So just teeny tedious task. Those kind of jobs are gone. But there will be different jobs along the way. All disruptions are messy, but I'm sure this one's gonna eventually correct itself. I might have to give it probably 5, 10 years, maybe even 15, but it will happen at some point.
For sure, Mr. Elias Marty. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support politically high tech?
Oh,
Go ahead, Mr. Ali.
oh yeah, just very briefly. Go politically high tech. It, I only pay attention to reviews on Apple Podcasts. I appreciate honest reviews on how I can improve and what makes episodes so great. And I'm also on Podmatch as well. Like a little shameless plug in right there. Great platform for both the host and the guests.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Elias Marty because if you support him, more and more and more empowering episodes of the podcast itself to come. So, Mr. Marty Elias or Mr. Eli, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Martycon people, see you soon.